Through now. I think we're coming through live.
I got it.
I think we're coming through live now. My wife says we got good signal. Am I coming through a little better for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, you're still a little poppy, but you're good.
I apologize for the poppiness. It's a 3-year-old set of Turtle Beaches. All right, how you guys doing today? Today we have Full Metal Joker and Mercolium on the show. I'll let Full Metal Joker introduce himself first real quick.
Hey, I'm Full Metal Joker. I don't know what else to say.
Do you have a YouTube channel or anything?
Oh, no, I don't really have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube account. It goes by my real name. All my YouTube account I do on is just put videos that I like on there and stuff like that.
Am I in the red or the green? Green? Alright, it's going to be a few seconds behind me in the green. My wife is helping me run the signal in the back. If you want to click on people that show up and go ahead and give them a blue wrench as they come in the chat on the right there, hon. Alright, Mercolium, would you go ahead and introduce yourself for me?
All right. Well, thank you, NumbedSkull. And as NumbedSkull, said, my name is Mercolium, and I am the host of the Devil's Advocates, a very similar but not the same satirical debate show on my channel that we air Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. However, right now we are on a break, so we'll be back in January. Other than that, if you want to watch my show, subscribe to it. Otherwise, stay here, tuned to NumbedSkull's The Great Debate. Figured I'd give them some support and come over and play the game.
All right, and I really do appreciate that. I told everybody a few episodes ago that I became aware of your show after my first episode because we had two very similar shows. The conversation seemed almost identical, and it was like, oops, did I copy someone? So
no, it's all right, and I've got nothing but love for you. You know, I mean, I've watched your stuff, and there's similarities, but I think for the most part, we go two different directions.
Right. Everybody wants to see something. We just have different ideas about it. So let's go ahead and load up the game board here so people can see it on the screen. It's going to look a little cooler today for Christmas. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. And we will load up this game. Welcome to the Great Debate. All right. On our board today, we made everything a little more Christmassy. I tried to get a little more red and green out of my board. We went through and we replaced the categories used on episode 8. Nothing here is absolutely Christmassy except for the look of the screen. So, do we have anybody that would like to volunteer to let the other go first, or should I flip a coin?
He can go first if you'd like.
Would you like to go first, Full Metal Joker?
Nah, just go ahead and choose.
Joker, heads or tails?
Well, I'll go with heads. How's that?
All right, tails. Joker can go first. You guys can't see that, but our audience is looking at a coin flip I just did for you guys.
It's a nice little, looks like a lantern almost.
That's actually Google. I'm stealing it from Google. They're good for something. All right. So Full Metal Joker, on our board, as you've seen before, we have 3 categories: easy, general, and hot topics. Each category has 6 different topics, and underneath each topic is a question or just something to be said and talk about. Would you like to pick something to talk about?
Well, I think I would... Since the hottest thing out there is the LGBTQ, let's choose that one.
LGBTQ plus asterisk community keeps growing and changing. Why are there not separate groups for these?
I think I'm stumped on that one. Really don't know. I don't know what's going on with these groups.
Okay, well, let's open up by going. An episode or two ago, we did have this topic one other time, and the conversation started as the biggest problem we seem to be having, altogether or separately, is that the LGBTQ plus asterisk community, which I wrote it as this time, seems to be enveloping all sorts of different types of communities on different spectrums of sexuality, gender, and recently even color. So why does this group keep growing and changing to adapt for these, and why do we not have separate groups? Or is this the right way to go, and this is just a group to identify marginalized people?
I actually think that that the group needs to reform, because at the beginning it served a purpose to give people that are gay, bi, that people that aren't straight an equal legging to stand on in society. Now it's become an echo chamber of crybabies trying to be special.
I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's an echo chamber. I mean, so originally the LGBTQ plus IA, whatever elemental P you want to call it now, a lot of them are just piggybacking. So I mean, the lesbians, gays, and bisexuals. Yes, I understand that they are a separate group outside of the quote unquote normal uh, sexuality or sexual orientation. But there's all these other people that kind of said, "Well, I don't identify as lesbian or gay or bi. I'm kind of this or that." And as opposed to starting their own group against the LBG community, they said, "Well, you know what? Let's work with them." And the LBG community said, "Well, okay, you know what? You're part of us. You're in the full spectrum of the queer." And when I say queer, I mean the outside of normal definition, not the homosexual definition of queer. So he said basically everybody who is not a quote unquote normal or normie, we'll put you under this and we'll just give you a new letter. And it makes sense because that they're trying to unify and grow as a group. And if they were to go separately, it would be all these little factions, fighting each other and trying to push back against the quote unquote normies. So I like that they're grouping together that, and we can say this group of people and refer to all of them at once, as opposed to saying, well, this group and then that group and then that group and then that group.
Yeah, but in the idea that they need to reform, it's not just me, but it's other people, other gay people, um, including me because I'm bi. It's just everybody that I know that's either gay or bi is going. They Things need to change, because at once they served a purpose. Now
So
they
maybe
don't.
we need
How are they
to.
not serving a purpose?
Well, I don't know if the
I mean, they're bringing
community.
attention to all these groups out there, and they're yelling at everybody who's normal, and saying that we're wrong. So how are they not serving a purpose?
I think they've possibly taken it a little too far. And while they want to be acknowledged, the group they're acknowledging themselves in, while acknowledging themselves in that group, they're diluting the group's original purpose, or what they
Yeah,
feel their
I
original
could kind of see
purpose
that.
to gain would be. So
It's not the original purpose anymore, but you know, I think there's honestly a bunch of trolls in that community that are trying to dissolve it from within. If you kind of, you got there's what 30 some odd different letters that go into that thing.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I can agree with that, because yeah, this whole non-binary thing and these the other parts of the LGBTQ community, they started from Tumblr as them making fun of these special snowflakes, and then someone went, "Oh, I identify as that," and then someone taking it, it's just someone turning something that's supposed to be a joke and go, "Well, I believe I fit like that," and then turning it into reality.
Okay.
See, a group, real quick, a group of ours, we kind of joked about this, is that I identify, me personally, I identify as trans financial. I mean, I'm I guess you consider me poor. I'm a poor person trapped, or I'm a rich person trapped in a poor person's body. But you've got these people, and the joke was that, well, what if I identify as black? And then come to find out that there are people who identify as black. One of them actually happens to, or was it? Yeah, she was the president of the
Yep.
NAACP chapter in Washington.
Why can't I think of
And I'm
her
like,
name? Dolanzal.
this was a joke. Somebody actually, so now that if you can identify as a different race, where does this go if I'm applying for a job? If I apply for a job and say, well, affirmative action, I identify as black, and so hire me. Where is the line? So yeah, I do agree with you that yes, they do need to reform, but I think a lot of these, like you say, snowflakes, all these people are just kind of running wild with it, and then you get a bunch of trolls and shitlords like myself who go out there and it's like, well, let's see how far we can push this limit.
Oh yeah. See, yeah, I agree with you because I'm a troll too. Because I don't like labels, and with all these labeling, I'm rebelling against the labels.
And see, most people want to be part of the minority so they can feel special. You know what? I'm straight. I'm part of the minority now.
Yeah.
So I've been straight before. Cool.
Yeah, I don't want to be seen as some kind of label. I know what I am. I just want to be seen as a person.
Well, right now I see you as a mask. So
As an individual, I think is more appropriate. You don't want to be seen as a member of a specific group or organization because you want to receive the credit of being from that specific group or organization. On the
see,
intent
I
of
think we
the,
need.
yeah, go ahead.
I think we need to go back to the 3 original groups. Okay, go back to identifying people as either human, Neanderthal, or hybrid, and that's it. Because those are the three original groups. Because the human, the Homo sapiens, and the Neanderthals were the ones who hybrided and created us as we are now. And there are still a lot of people with more Neanderthal genes and more Homo sapien genes, and then the majority of us are the hybrid between the two. So we need to go back to Neanderthal, hybrid, or Homo sapien. And that's what we are. We don't identify animals as queer or straight or bi. No, they're just animals, and we are part of the animal kingdom.
Absolutely. Well, although if you watch, some people have been trying to say their dog is or their cat is or something, and it's again gotten slightly out of control.
Trans species.
Trans species. My dog wants to be a cat. It doesn't bark anymore.
I identify as a dog, so me having sex with it isn't a bad thing.
Oh
So,
no! Here comes the Whitney, Wisconsin thing. Rears its shiny head once again.
okay, so to round off in the last minute or so on this, the LGBTQ plus asterisk community keeps growing and changing. Why are there not separate groups for these? So it was maybe 40 or 50 years ago the group started to solidify to become the LGBTQ community. The Q was added a little later, and then since the Q was added, they thought add a bunch of other stuff. I have no problem with the community, but I believe that it has been diluted to the point where the LGBTQ community should be separate from, let's say, the non-binary trans community, or start a new acronym that would accumulate the rest of who needs to fit in so that they aren't necessarily separate, but they can get their individuality, because they are diluting for those who were there in the LGBT community who want to push to preserve the rights that they've received for being LGBTQ. And if the trans non-binary community wants to receive those rights, they need to push for those rights on their own.
See, I equate this to Christianity, and you had the Christians, and then you had all the different divisions and sects of Christianity, and that's all this is turning out to be. Is that these people are here, and then there's the divisions of it.
Okay. That brings us up to Mercolium's turn. Taking a look back at the board, we now have only 15 topics remaining.
Oh, see, I like Hot Topic. I like these push button things that trigger people. So, I've been watching a lot of the alien stuff and NASA and Flat Earth. So I'm going to say conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories. There is a secret government organization seeking to rule over mankind from the shadows. Now, of course, I left this open. You can. It's just a generic statement. You can go with this how you want.
Honestly, I'd say yes, but maybe not to the extent that all these conspiracy theorists are thinking. Is that the Illuminati and the black government and all this stuff, where they want everybody to follow under their commands. I don't think so. I honestly think that it's not, like I said, it's not who you think it is. It's going to be the Eskimos in northern Alaska that are trying to continue coming down south into the United States. And so they're trying to get us, the mainlanders, the lower 48s, to fight and kill each other off so that they can move in and reinstate their strength into the North America along with the other Native Americans, and they can retake over America. So it's not the Illuminati, it's the Inuits.
The Inuits. Interesting. I don't think I've heard that one before. Full Metal Joker, what do you got?
Well, I kind of agree with him. Yes, there's most likely some form of power hiding in the shadows, but again, it's going to be someone or something that you're least likely to expect, because guess what? If it's some sort of shadow government or secret person, they have the money and power to not be found out. So everyone saying, well, we have evidence to prove that this guy. No, you just found another puppet. The true person in charge, you're not going to find out until the last minute, and then we're going to be doomed anyway. So
okay, well, this is definitely a difficult one to spark on. So when I tried to put more specific topic in here, I couldn't see the conversation lasting long. This can be seen in any general way, shape, or form. So if you kind of look at the government right now, there could be several secret organizations all working to do their own bidding. You have Democrats and Republicans on the surface saying one thing and doing another thing. You have people pushing, saying they want these laws and rules, but then when you read through some of it, it just doesn't make sense. Don't give Nuggets a wrench. He doesn't want
one. with that, the Republicans and Democrats, they're just following the people that's paying them. It's just plain and simple.
Okay, but are they doing it with a purpose that we don't know about? Are they secretly pushing towards something that we don't know about or that we don't necessarily want?
Yes. I firmly agree that they are, because again, they're just the Republicans and Democrats. They're just following the people that are paying them. The Democrats have their own set of people that are paying them. Republicans have their own set that are paying them. The old saying is follow the money. Follow the money trail down the rabbit hole.
I would like to retract my previous statement. I have been informed that there is no secret organization in the shadows trying to rule us. It is all just an illusion. Nobody can.
Okay. Click once if there's a gun to your head. Click twice if there is.
Oh, jeez. Conspiracy theories. There's always going to be people.
There's always going to be, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you never know what it's going to be. This even popped up during our own Christmas debate. Something came up, and all of a sudden I yelled out, "The frogs are gay!" And for an hour we were talking about Alex Jones conspiracy theories, just for nothing. So
the greatest illusion. See, I like watching Magic and like Penn and Teller or stuff like that. But the greatest illusion that the U.S. government is putting in front of us is that there's a secret organization running everything. When there's nobody running anything, and the actual government has no clue what they're doing. But because of the conspiracy theories saying that there is, people behind the shadow, in the shadows running it, that they can kind of be free of, blame, even though, like in Hollywood, there are people who kind of, pay the bills and stuff like that and kind of steer things the right way. Yeah, there's going to be that. But
what's his name? Honestly, who's in the White House right now? What's the guy's name? No, not Trump. He works for Trump, the financial guy. Wears the glasses, stands behind Trump. He's really quiet. But if you look, he's an executive producer. Basically, he's the financial supporter of tons and tons of movies.
Oh, God, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of his name, but he sits in the White House. He basically just financially supports the movies. Silently stands in the back doing whatever he does.
And you're going to have that. There's always going to be people in the background, but I don't think there's, when it comes to business, there's people who you don't see who are running things. It's kind of a hit and miss.
Thanks, Nog. See you later.
So, until I see evidence of it, it's going to be kind of hard. It's just a theory, like it says, conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's just a theory. I think what it comes down to is people see what they want to see out of what is there. And there's so many people involved in doing so many things that what could look like some extreme line of conspiracy could be an extreme line of coincidentals and people that paid and lobbied for certain things that just happened to coincide with something else. And, you can tie anything together if you multiply it by 9 enough times.
Yeah. But like I was saying with the illusion is that if the government, or if we as a people believe that the government can do anything without, they can make anybody disappear without, any evidence or anything like that, there's this shadow agency that puts us in a state of, well, we don't want to piss off our government. And so the government's going to keep perpetuating the illusion that there is somebody behind the scenes.
Or at least allow it to perpetuate on its own.
And if there is somebody behind the scenes, they can't stop it. The government's just a puppet. So, you look at, what was it, I can't think of the king, but the way the Christian church used to work in England, and how they basically ran the country for a while as the Christian church and not the monarchy. And it's still to that day is that now it's according to the hierarchy of how it works, the crown is now in charge of the church as well as the country. So, but no, it's all an illusion.
And like I said, I think a whole bunch of it is just coincidental, or you happen to have certain people that have their own agenda, and agendas seem to line up, and they may think it's a conspiracy when it's just someone trying to do something they believe in. It's a conspiracy. Trump made it into the White House because a bunch of Americans voted for him.
Yeah, I take conspiracy theorists with a grain of salt, because there are still people saying that we never landed on the moon.
What moon?
Yeah. It's just a hologram, don't you know that?
It's a bowl. It's not flat like the Earth is. It's a concave bowl shaped in the opposite direction, so we can see the reflection of some ellipsis.
I could see Armstrong and Aldrin not being the first ones there, because we were in a race against the Russians. And once we declared that we were there, the Russians kind of backed off, and so it allowed us to give us a little bit more time. So that actually, I can't even think of who the second people were on the moon. but so that they were actually the first ones. And it basically backed off Russia from trying to get to the moon because, well, we already made it. So yeah, but there's also other things like with the moon landing that some of the footage was lost, and that's why they had to recreate what had actually happened. I could kind of see that, but with all the radiation that's out there, I could kind of see film getting kind of messed up. But
yeah, and they didn't realize how bad it was at the time. They didn't realize once you get into outer levels that the radiation increased the farther out you got and in different direction.
Yeah, I could see us getting there, but maybe not. When we actually did, not the first time.
All right, and there's the 10 minutes. Interesting place to stop. All right, that brings us back to Full Metal Joker with now 14 categories remaining on the board. We're knocking out the hot topics today pretty quick.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll have to say politics.
Politics. Oh, here we go. Right down this right-hand column. I'm clicking on the wrong screen. Whoops. Is a $15 minimum wage good or bad for those making minimum wage?
Right now in this economy, I have to firmly say it is a bad idea, and I firmly tell people that we don't need to increase wages. We need to decrease the cost of living through the cut of regulations.
Okay.
How is okay? So I agree with you on this point. Is that yes? No, we do not need a $15 minimum wage. But how is decreasing regulations a good thing in that?
Well, because there's a lot of useless regulations that companies, big and small, have to pay for. Now, when you cut some of these regulations, some of the taxes that they have to pay, then through that process they can cut the cost of goods,
So okay,
thus
trickle down
decreasing the
economics.
cost of living.
Trickle down economics does not work, and it has been proven. Because let's see, what freaking company was it that just did this? It's like AT&T or something like that. They just got with the new tax cut that happened. They're saving trillions. Okay, they're giving all of their employees $1,000 bonus, which would cost the company themselves maybe $100 billion. If trickle down economics actually worked, the company would pass almost all of that back down to their employees. A lot of the regulations, and yeah, there are some stupid ones, but a lot of the regulations are there because it's for the same reason there's warning labels, is because there are stupid people out there who are going to take advantage of their employees and advantage of the crew,
And
and they're not going to pay them.
here's the thing: trickle down economics hasn't been completely tried, because when every time it gets implemented and it's tried, the government is sticking their hand where the people sticking their hand and or buckets in the way, collecting what trickles down.
So what happened with all the other previous corporate tax cuts? Because the tax cuts for corporations, this isn't the first one. There's been others that have been handed down, and where does that money go? It goes straight into the pockets of the investors, the CEOs, and everybody above upper management, like senior management. That's where the money goes. It doesn't go down to the employees. And if it does, it might go down and, oh, hey, look, you got a 50-cent raise. And a 50-cent raise with, the amount, even thousands of employees, isn't anything but a drop in the bucket. So this tax cut, yeah, I agree that the tax cut is a good thing for families. Corporate tax cut, not necessarily. And I like Donald Trump. I voted for him, but this was a tax cut proposed by, or actually put into place by any other politician or any other president. All the money would go into Donald Trump's pocket or Bill Gates's pocket, or all these billionaires that are savvy enough to know how to work the tax system. What we need to do, and it's minimum wage is people have been able to survive on minimum wage up until, I want to say, the early 90s. And then you had, these wage hikes. At the same time, because the wage hikes were going up, the economy was getting better because of Clinton. You had this lack of education in how to manage money correctly. Okay, it doesn't come down to giving people more money. You give stupid people more money, they're going to continue to do stupid things. You can look at almost what was it, 25 to 30% of professional athletes while they're playing are spending money on retarded things. Expensive cars, expensive houses, but they're not saving it. And then you look at the majority of professional athletes after they get done playing, okay, that they're broke. Okay, even if he didn't kill anybody, O.J. Simpson would still be broke because he was stupid with his money. So it's not giving people more money; it's educating them on how to manage their money, how to invest properly, not spend on stupid stuff, be able to manage happy with what they have, not go after $250 pair of Jordans. Why go out there and spend $400 on a game system when, like myself, I built a game system for $150?
Yeah, and I agree, and I agree with you. That's another big issue that we're dealing with. People are living beyond their means. People are trying to live a caviar lifestyle on a top ramen budget.
Yeah, so it's not giving them more money. But it kind of goes into, like you said, you don't agree with the wage hike, but I don't trickle down economics isn't going to work because greedy people are going to be greedy, stupid people are going to be stupid.
It will work under the right conditions, and one thing is we need to teach people how to budget. You'd be surprised how many people do not know how to budget their money. They don't even know what a budget system is because no one has taught them. The only people that haven't been taught know about a budget system because they've wasted their money and then, oh shit, bills got to be paid.
Where you're going to get the price to go down, the cost of living to go down, is drive the demand down. And when people buy less, prices go down because the demand isn't there. So there's an overabundance of these products that these companies just keep mass producing. All of a sudden, oh crap, there's not a demand for it anymore. So now it's on sale. And so that's when you would go and get your stuff. But if you get people who aren't after the brand new iPhone X, or 10X or whatever the new freaking phone is out there that's $1,000. There are people who have been saving their paychecks so they can go buy this freaking phone when they've got $1,000. Cool, hold on to that because you never know what's going to happen next. Free healthcare falls into that same line. We don't give them free healthcare. Teach people how to manage their money and actually afford the right healthcare, take care of themselves, take care of their bodies. You have to be able to take care of your life. We don't need to rely on government and all these other people to, give us things. Drive down the price of goods by not buying the freaking crap that's out there.
Yep.
Goodwill is a great place, by the way.
Yeah.
Tell you
what, so it's the dollar store.
Goodwill, but one thing I'd like to do every once in a while is go to a thrift store with $20 to $30 in my hand and see what I can find.
You're gonna pop some tags?
I found a nice computer bag for my laptop that if you were to go to Best Buy for, it would cost $30-$40. I found the exact same bag in perfect condition for $12, and I went, yes.
Yeah, no, I like thrift shops. So I thought you were gonna go on to a Macklemore reference there for a second, but I like thrift shops, and I've taught my daughters, hey, you know what? We've gone into Goodwill, we've gone into Value Village, we've gone into local thrift shops around us, and they're like, we won't just go buy stuff. We'll go look around. Like I walk around the store, I'm constantly looking for electronics and certain other things. And if I see
window shopping is always free.
Here's the honest truth. The microphone that I'm on right now, I sound pretty good, right? I don't sound like really bad. This is a $2 Rock Band microphone. I found my mic boom is an old desk boom lamp. You know, those kind of like on Pixar, those lamps. I stripped it, flipped it upside down, and it's hanging, and it's my boom mic. I think I spent $5 on this setup. So I mean, there's things that reuse stuff, educate people on. You don't need the brand new stuff to do all this, you know, great things. You can build your own, repurpose, and go from there. Again, that's how you're going to drive down prices, is by not demanding the newest stuff.
Okay. In 40 seconds left, I would like to interrupt and say what I think of this. A $15 minimum wage straight up is bad, and it's bad for what I call accordion economics. And that is, you're going to have people that make $14, and you're going to have people that make $9. And when they go, okay, it's going to be 15, that person making 14 is going to be no better off after all of the years of input and the working to get to that 14 than the person who just started at 9, because now they're also going to be at 15.
Yeah, why does some teenager get to make the same amount that I do when I've been working for, 20 years?
Yep, and that's who it hurts. It hurts the people who've got time in. So that's why I think it's bad. And I've seen it happen in different areas when states have raised minimum wage, not necessarily to 15, but they've raised it to a point, and you've gone, wait a second, I just put in 2 years to get 25 cents a year, and they raised it 70 cents, and this person's getting hired at 5 cents below what I've been making for 6 months now.
Yeah, no, I live south of Seattle, and they've been trying to do that thing. It's like, no, no, you do not get to pay people $15 an hour out of high school.
Yeah, I think it's dumb.
I started working when I was 14, and I didn't make anywhere near that when I started working.
Well, if you go to New York City, you can make like $15.50 by 2019, I think is what their schedule was. If you go to LA, it's end of 2018 or beginning of 2019. It's supposed to be 15, I think. Or was it LA? Or there's a couple places that are pushing it that it's supposed to go through.
You still have to make at that point. You have to make $22 an hour to live.
Yeah, because and this hurts the people at minimum wage. I'd hate to keep this carrying on because our 10 minutes is up, but at minimum wage, when you get that increase of, let's say, 25 or 50% to that minimum wage, the prices of everything you're buying have to go up 25 to 50% to cover the cost of paying that minimum wage, and therefore you're actually going to lose out because your taxes and your costs all increase at the same rate, which means your increase in paycheck is less than the amount of the increase of the cost of the supplies and services that you need.
And usually cost of living increases 10% more than the actual wages do, so you're worse off than you were before.
Yeah, you're just pushing that even faster. Yep. So, that was Full Metal Joker. Who chose $15? Yes. I forget now. Okay, so we're on Mercolium if you would like to choose another topic from the board.
I don't want to chew up all your hot debate stuff, so...
Oh, you're fine. I put new ones in every time we use them. Don't have no worries. If I run out of ideas, I can always change the category topic.
Okay. Let's go religion.
Religion. Oh, here we go. Religion is a social construct built on moralities of the times they were created.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Yes and no.
All right.
I want to hear the no.
Well, I have to say with some religions, they haven't changed since they were created. Muslim. But there has been quite a few religions, i.e. Christianity well, Catholics under the Christian banner. No matter how much they like to deny it, they have changed with the times as well. But there is a handful of religions that chose to change with the times because there's no way that their religion could stand in modern day times, so they would have to change.
So that's it. I kind of understand where you're coming from. on that. That yes, based that a lot of religions will change. You have to look at and see. You specifically called out Muslim, which yeah, they've been pretty much straightforward on the, I guess you would say, it's not. I can't think of the word, but the hardcore, the strict Muslims, yeah, are they haven't changed. There are some that are kind of reformed and stem away. But you also look at like Buddhism and Taoism and like Shintoism, is that because a lot of those religions, like the Eastern religions, are generalized, they're not like specifically strict on like sexual orientation and stuff like that, that it allows them to still remain peaceful and still believe the religion without having to modify themselves to modern times.
Okay, and in there
so
I will
kind of look at Christian.
Go ahead, finish. I was going to toss something in, but go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, but you can kind of look at like,
you can look at Christianity. Yeah, it's exactly where I was going. Any time Christianity has adapted to change their social construct outlook on morality, Christianity has metamorphosized and created a new religion. So Christianity has branched off every time the morality was seen not right during the time.
Yeah, you look at Methodists, Baptists, Seventh-day Adventists, every time, yeah. Christianity, the true form of Christianity, has made minimal changes. Pope Benedict acknowledged gay marriage, not being a bad thing. So that's one of the few changes. But you look at like the Methodists, who've never had a problem with it. There's every little division in Christianity, Catholicism actually, is because the times have changed. Started like with Martin Luther. He didn't agree with the Catholic Church, and the Lutherans were created because he's like, no, times are different, so we need to do it this way. So, like NumbedSkull said, is that it's not that the religion has changed; it has branched and gone a different way. So there's still a construct of when they were created. Because Lutherans weren't created, 2,000 years ago. It was what, 700 years ago?
Yeah, 1400s. Like 1400s.
Yeah. So it's, yeah. I would say yes, they are a construct of the times they're created. Majority of the religions, but there are some that are still, like Islam itself is stayed Islam, but there are other divisions within Islam, just like Christianity. Same thing with Buddhists, Taoists, Shintoists, the Jews, the Jewish religion, because you've got the Hasidic and the Methodist Jews. The Jewish religion has kind of changed as to adapt to the new times, but it creates a new religion in and of itself.
It takes some new moralities of the current time and adapts them into the religion. Mm-hmm. See, I thought this was a nice generic way to talk about this, too. Because when you look back at Muslims and people think about how Muslims treat their religion and how they read it, if you look at it from their point of view, this is moral to them because their religion was constructed at the time when this was right and they have adhered to it and lived by it all this time. Now, if Christianity had never broken off, we would have sects of people who were similar to that of Muslims, but they would see things slightly different, where Christians never made their women cover up, but women were almost seen the same way in the religion thousands of years ago. Christianity decided that wasn't right, and that has slowly changed and created new sects of Christianity that allow women to hold different levels of different social levels, where the Muslim religion has not made too many transformations. There are a few sects, but they don't deviate far from the religion because they haven't made enough transitions to make that course change where we have Protestant and Methodist and agnostic, and we haven't evolved the Muslim tradition far enough from its original social construct to create the new moralities that adhere to current times, I think is why we don't see that.
You look at like with Islam, there's like the Shia and the Kurds, and they have their own way of practicing Islam, which essentially creates the Kurdish religion, the Kurdish version of or Kurdish Islam, and I just said it. I can't think of it. Can't think of the name now. God dang it.
Yeah, I have a hard time with some of the names of their.
The Shias, sorry.
Shiites.
The Shiites and the Kurds, they have their own version of Islam, which actually is against Islam itself. And then you've got like Sharia law, which doesn't come, if I remember right, and I could be wrong on this, but Sharia law does not come from the Quran itself. It actually is a book, kind of like it's another book that goes along with the Quran, because you cannot change the Quran according to Islam. So as opposed to changing the Quran, they created these amendments to it in different books. And that's where you get like Sharia law and all these the jihadists and that thinking that they're going to go to heaven and all these virgins. It's actually not in the Quran. It's other books outside of the Quran that people read with it. And then you've got the imams that actually say, or that will preach outside of the Quran itself.
You want to throw Mahatma a wrench?
Yeah, kind of deviating a little bit, but
no, that's fine. That's why I got 10 minutes to talk about this. This is really, it's a hot topic. It's hard to talk about generically, and it needs to be talked about in a way where people can see and understand the other side and why maybe we're not reaching common ground or understanding what's being said. Are we looking at it from the perspective of different religions? Are we seeing this on how it could have built from to know where it is now?
See, me personally is I'm agnostic. Sorry about that. Not because I don't believe in God. It's because I don't subscribe to one religion, because religion is the most leading cause of death in the world. God is the biggest killer. Every major war has been fought in the name of God at one point or another. Hell, you look at the Crusades themselves. How many millions of people died because of God?
Yep.
And the current terrorist situation that's going on, not the one, but the just constant terrorist situation, is because of their belief in God, and that the Western world, and i.e. anybody who is not Islam, is wrong and they must be killed.
You either follow their religion or be killed.
Yeah. And they're even using a bastardized version of Islam, are being shunned by like true Islamists. Now, mind you, I'm not. A lot of the Muslims and Islamics that are moving into like Germany and Europe and stuff like that, they're not the hardcore believers that we need to commit terrorist acts, but they're still like the right wing version of Islam. They're not following their own religion. If we got rid of religion, we probably could have rid of all wars.
It's probably not far from the truth. All right, back to the board. We have a little under 9 minutes. I say, is it back to Full Metal Joker?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Would you like to pick one more category, or you guys want to talk about how Christmas is going for your family so far this year?
I think let's see. Well, this should be under hot topic. I will have to say the internet.
The internet, okay. Should sites actively sort free speech or articles, not acts?
No, they shouldn't mess with it. They shouldn't mess with it at all. Sites should should sort through acts, yes, but free speech is free speech.
All right, so basically, to clarify this, because when you write it out too long, it won't fit in the board. So I try to write it in a light general. Some sites have even claimed to have sorted the data in their pages, saying whether or not an article is true or false based on their own standards. Now, to be actively inclusive, to include YouTube, this is to include what's being said or portrayed in videos. However, making the clarification that I'm talking about speech or articles or talking about something, not the showing of an act that should not be seen in that platform.
Yeah, if like for instance YouTube, if it's like certain acts, yes, should be posted on YouTube because hey, YouTube is supposed to be there for not just adults but for children as well, and so it's supposed to be a general purpose site. So yeah, certain acts should not be posted on posts like YouTube. But free, like I said, free speech is free speech, and as long as said speech is not threatening the life of another person or treading on another person's right for their free speech, it should not be hindered in any way or form.
So, yeah, no, free speech shouldn't be, regulated, sorted, or anything like that.
Yeah.
But people have to understand that, and this is where we get into this disconnect with the people who want free speech. They don't want free speech. What they want is their speech to be unhindered while not being able to listen or not having to hear other people's negativity or blowback. So it's the ignorant and the stupid that want to be able to say whatever they want without being corrected. And that's what you're finding on the extreme left. It's not the left as a whole, but the people on the extreme left who are touting free speech, free speech, free speech. Yet when you come and say, well, here's where you're wrong on this and this and this, like, then they start calling you a Nazi or this. They start doing all these other things. It's like, so you want me to listen to you, but you're not going to listen to me? Great. So no, free speech, there should be no regulation on it, period. However, you should not be flagged or sorted if you're coming back and saying this is where you're wrong. And that's where you find, like on YouTube, a lot of people on one side are being able to freely tout their stupidity, and the other side, when they're coming back saying no, this is where you're wrong, here's the actual thing, are getting flagged and removed. So
what about the ones
great.
What about the sites who are actively touting false articles? They're putting out articles out there to intentionally be disingenuous, to get people to click on them and see false or fake news just for the clicks, just for the business. There was a site that was outed a couple weeks ago. They're like, we're shutting down because real life has become far too close to the satire we were portraying as fake news.
Oh yeah, I know which Medusa Magazine or something like that.
Yeah. I forget what the name of it was, but I'm sure you heard about it. It was kind of big on here.
Yeah, no, I saw that. If they never hid the fact that they were satire.
No, but they were sorted and separated by sites like Facebook or Google during search engines to discount them or to not include them as often in the searches because they were deemed by somebody or some organization as fake news or a disingenuous article.
And that's here's the gray area in this is that, like I said, you should not be sorted, you should not be censored. However, us on YouTube, anybody on Facebook, it's not public. The public use these things, but they are private businesses. Okay. The businesses can do kind of what they want. They can censor what they want on their platform because it is theirs. So while I don't agree with it, I do say yes. If they're getting stuff that's saying this is fake, this is false, that they can censor, or they can put it into this area and say, okay, well, we're not seeing that you're putting out disinformation. It comes down to, if you're going to start doing that as a business, then you have to open up the process better for reviews. So if that website was putting out their satire, and well, they got flags, they got put into timeout, then they should be able to say, look, this is what we're doing. Here's where it said, it says this. Then, that company should actively go, okay, you're right. Put them back where they were. The problem is that there's, like with YouTube, there's so many sites out there, there's so many channels that are putting out actual information that one side doesn't agree with, that the other side is flagging them, and so you kind of get put into timeout right away. Be able to appeal it, or even if you appeal it, you're not going to get anywhere. A lot of my channels, not a lot of my channels, a lot of my videos are demonetized, and I can't appeal because, well, I don't have enough views on them. It's like, why is my stuff being demonetized when I'm very similar to this channel and this channel, or the language is no worse than this channel or this channel?
Can you click a thumbs up? I'm gonna lag my computer out. Sorry guys, I was trying to thumbs up a statement in the chat, and I think I'm gonna glitch it a little bit, and I apologize for that. I'm having my wife do it on her side.
Oh, no worries. I got into rambling a little bit, but
no, you're fine.
So to kind of cut this short, is that the double-edged sword here is that free speech. If I'm out on the street, no, you can't censor me. If you're on a private business's site or server, they have the right to do it. Do I agree with it? No. Should there be a better process to appeal it? Yes. And if somebody out there is putting out disinformation and they're not satire, then they need to. The way you stop this is through legal ramifications. Go through the court systems. But it's so hard because I don't think any one of us on this show right now has their actual name up.
Nope, and I don't intend to.
So how do you track these people down?
We'll do that. Yeah, well, the goal is for me not to be tracked down, because this is just something I do for fun.
Yeah.
If I need to walk away from this, which I had to this last summer, if I need to walk away, it needs to be able to walk away without having any strings. So
see, and I don't. So
I wouldn't want my stuff to be sorted, though, because I wouldn't want my stuff to be not seen because it was sorted in a certain way, though. And that's what I think is happening, is it's being sorted, but instead of being sorted and labeled, it's being sorted and tucked away.
Yeah, and see, like YouTube isn't. They're shutting down some channels, and they're putting them back up after appeals and stuff like that. But they don't have to actively sort you. The way they could do it is how they used to, is their featured channels. So they don't have to actively promote you, but if they promote all these other ones ahead of you, they're not censoring your information. They're not censoring what you're putting out there.
True. I just think it would be better to label. Yeah, I could too. And I honestly, I was looking at this from a point of how you watch a video or a video game. When you go to a store and you're allowed to pick a video or game, and you flip it over on the back, you got a little box that says PG-13, NC-17, R, X, PG, G, T, E, I'm trying to think of M. It has all these letters, and they all tell you what it's supposed to be, and because of that letter, you know what kind of movie or game you're buying. And I think that same type of system needs to be applied. Instead of hiding things, you need to marker it. Hey, this is rated T for teen because there's swearing involved, or hey, this is rated M.
Maybe
you want one of your parents to unlock it.
Maybe if we as channels take that on our own accord.
I do try. Yeah, that was the end of the 10 minutes there. I do actually try. When I do put adult content, pictures, or imagery in my videos, I do mark the adult tab when I post it, just to make sure that I'm at least honest about it.
Yeah, well, mine, the language just kind of goes inside. That's where I'd probably be TVMA.
Yeah, but you see, that's
There's a lot of
borderline.
swearing on this.
That's a borderline. Well, here we are at the 10 o'clock hour on the East Coast. I really want to thank you guys for joining me on today's Christmas edition show. And I want to thank the chat for popping in and hanging out with us today. Would you guys like to put in any last words?
Sure, yeah. I actually really appreciate you having me on the show. Like I said, I wanted to jump on earlier, but I appreciate the Christmas one because this is about the only time my schedule allows for it. But again, thank you for having me on, and make sure if you guys are watching this after it's live, sub to NumbedSkull, hit his channel up, watch these shows. They're really good. And if you want an alternate version of it, hit my channel up, and you'll see a different side of the same coin.
I will try to go back here and post edit and put your link in the description under your name for those who watch. If you guys want to check him out, definitely sub. I'm subbed. I've been watching his shows, if nothing else, to get some ideas and keep mine flowing. So hopefully we'll do some more collabs here in the future as we go. And Full Metal Joker, thank you so much for joining us today and making it a three-party show.
All right, yeah, no problem. I'll join you on streams whenever I can, because hey, it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always looking to get new people on here. Yes. It's been a great conversation today, guys. You have yourselves a Merry Christmas. I hope your day goes well, and I hope the snow keeps falling. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a good day.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.